Creative Solutions, and I design sculpture templates. So today I am building the shoulders for a bust head template that I've built already, and the video for that is on YouTube already. So I'm just going to get my bits and bobs together while we do this live. So just use a sharp tool. Once you've cut out the template, lay it onto the clay. The clay is 5mm thick or 1/2 centimetre thick, whichever's easiest. And then get your sharp tool and draw through the clay. You can see that okay? Yep. Now I've got cling film under this. You don't have to have the cling film under. You can just do it off the board. But I've pre-rolled this clay. I've got a pile of it behind me ready to go. So that's why I've got cling film included in it. It'll also stop the clay from sticking to the board if it's very wet. And this is straight from the bag, so it's quite wet. This is only going to be a short video showing you how I build the shoulders for the head. You don't have to add the shoulders to the head. You could just have the head and neck if you want to. But this is just an extra. So I'm going to put these pieces to one side because I'm going to use these to roll an extra slab. But anyway, before you move this off the board, if you just highlight with your blunt tool or orange wood stick or anything that's got a little point on like so, but not enough to imprint or push through the paper. I mean, if you do push through the paper, it's not that much of a big deal, but you know, it's just a nice cleaner finish if you don't. There we go. So there's that one. So that's my, I'm going to go with left side. So I'm going to put le for left on there. And then I'm going to move this off onto a board behind me. And now I've got my next piece. Because obviously this is quite a big sculpture, so it takes up the full expanse of my board. So I'm doing it in the sizes of segments. So we've just done back one. So now we're going to do the matching piece to that, which be that one and that one, like so. So I'm going to pop that on there. I mean, if you get it wrong, you can always turn the slab over. It's no big deal because they're all exactly the same, front and back. But obviously, it just means the darts would be marked out on the wrong side. So you just have to re-mark those with the template. It's very windy here today because we've had a storm, so. Try and keep the lines nice and neat and straight, because obviously this has got to join together. It is a pattern. There we go. Mark out that dart there. And then this is front two. So yeah, lovely. So that's those two done. Keep those parts separate so I don't get them all mixed up and redo them again. So that's that one. So I'm going to move this one now as well. And because they've got cellophane underneath them, it means you can stack them on top of one another. They won't stick. And it also makes it really easy to lift and carry. So I've got the next one now. And these are all, like I say, 5mm thick rolled too. So I have done this shoulder and now I'm doing that shoulder. Now on this template, because it is so large and Etsy only allowed me to download 5 files without having to do it over 2 listings costing more VAT for you guys, I've decided to do it so that you cut 2 of each out, and then you just have to mark on the reverse of the template the dots for the other side. So that's why this one is clear and the other one has got a pattern on. That gives you a, if that makes sense. As you can see, the thickness is quite consistent. So I'm going to mark out my dots. It's important that we get these in the right place as well, because these are what's going to form the shape. There we go. Lovely. Move this one out of the way. So I'm now going to show you how I'm going to join these pieces together to make up for the final piece with no issues. So I'm just going to add a little bit of water there. I'm actually going to put cling film under this so it doesn't stick to the board. It's just to help it not stick to the board. There we are. Like so, to get rid of these bits. Now I can lift this up and move it around because it shouldn't be stuck to the board, you see. Like so. And then get my 2 bats out, which are 5mm thick, and my rolling pin. And then carefully roll. Join these pieces together. There we go. And then I'll just use, make sure it's cleaned off. No rough clay on there. To make sure those joins are sealed. Like so. And then I can turn this over and then do the same this side. Make sure all the joins are married together well. Like so. Like so. And then I'm going to turn this back over. There we are. Now I've just got to use this template. Is it that one? Yes, it was that one. Because these are very similar, so just check. So I've got that one and that one, so I don't want the same side, so I'm going to reverse that one and do this side. Okay, and use my orange wood stick or sharp tool, nice straight sharp tool to mark out. There we go. And mark out the dart. And then we have it. So we can remove that now. Take all the bits of clay away. So that's that one. There we go. Last little bit. Take that off. Ta-da! So now we're ready to allow these to dry out a little bit. Because we want them to firm up enough so that we can stand them up and build on them, you see. So I'm going to move this over to one side. I'm going to put them all together and stack them one top of one another. And then cover that the top one over with the plastic, just so it doesn't dry out completely. And then with this little bit of clay that I've got left, I'm going to wedge it, because I'm going to roller this out to put a base on my sculpture. So that's what I'm going to do with this little wedge, so that there's no waste left and nothing going in my slot bucket. But if you didn't want to do this, you could just grab a bit more out of the bag. But my bags are all in the shed, so I'll just use what I've got in front of me instead. I'm going to give this a pat down now. As best I can. And then I'm going to get my rolling pin. Do the same with these scrap pieces too. Put that to one side. And then I'm going to join these two together. I'm going to put some cling film down, same way as I did before, or plastic wrap, I think you call it in America. Like so. I've got a bit left over here from earlier, so I'm going to add that on in a momento once I've rolled this to the same thickness, or close to. some clay on there that's causing an imprint, so I'm just going to get that off. There it is. Like so, and then I'm going to add this bit on from earlier. And then because obviously I've got the plastic underneath, it makes it very easy to turn over. Like so. Put the plastic wrap back on. And turn it over. As you can see there's no joins showing now, so that's a really good slab to build with later. So this is going to be the base. I haven't determined the shape of the base yet, but I will add that onto the template so it's easier for you guys to do that bit. But I'm going to put the shoulders and everything together first, and then that should give me the shape of the base. I think this is probably going to be a little bit too small to do that later, but you don't need to do that bit because you'll have the template. So we get rid of all these bits now because we don't need the rolling pin at the moment. And we've got this bit here. This is the left. Okay. And this is the right, like so. So I'm going to join these two pieces together and then stand it up because we're going to apply the darts. So I'm going to get the plastic out of the way now because we don't need the plastic. Turn that over. Turn that over. And that's still quite damp because it's been in plastic. So we don't want to handle the slabs too much at this point because we don't want it to distort its shape. Keeping the shape is really important. Really, really important. So we're going to cut these darts out now. So make sure you stick to the darts and don't divert from them. otherwise you won't get the right shape. These are the shoulders. Okay, so we can pop that one to one side now. Get that firm up. Same with this one. There we are. I'm going to let that firm up. Move that to one side, like so. And then we've got the left and the right, as you can see. And just adjust this so you can see better. There we are. So I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take that out. Like so. I'm going to move this over slightly so you can see. Cut that dart out there. And then cut this dart out here. There we are. And there we have it. So those are the final pieces. So that's the back and this is the front. So that's basically the crux of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to join these pieces together now, there and there. And then I'm going to allow this clay to firm up. And then later on I shall do part 2 of building the shoulders and placing it on the base. So it should be nice and simple for you to all follow. This is done in real time, not edited and sped up, so you can see how long it takes. And that should give you a better idea if this is something that you could do. But it's quite straightforward and easy in my opinion, but you'll have to tell me what you think. Or just use a sharp tool to score in a pattern on the sides that you're going to join. So that's what I'm doing now, making sure it's a bit rough. And this is the only bit I'm going to do it while the clay is this soft. We've got to allow it to firm up slightly so it's stiffer. Like so. Just make sure. There we are. Lovely. So now I made some thick slip earlier, and so this should be ready to use. Nice and thick. We're literally going to plaster that on both sides because we want this join to be really secure. A bit more on there, like so. And then I'm going to move this slightly down onto a drier section of board so it doesn't stick too bad. And I'm going to marry these two pieces together like so. And then same with this one. There we are, they're joined now. So I'm going to leave that there, and then I'll be back live again later to do the next section. So I hope this helped you to understand the process of hand building. This has now got to dry out depending on your situation. The weather, that can make a difference. The heating, if you've got heating in the room, that can make a difference. So it'll depend on that. So basically it's got to be less floppy, more that if you try to stand it up, that it would stand up on its own without flopping or losing its shape. So I'll show you that in the next video. And then I'll show you the rest of the process. I've got to build the lower slab, like I say, to stick this onto. So I'll do that as well, but I have to leave these to dry before I can move them. You could do this on a different board if you wanted to, but I'm limited on space here. So you could lift this board out of the way and put a new board down and then carry on with the next section while the other board and clay and pieces are drying. But I haven't got the space. So I'm going to go off for now and leave you to watch this video at a later date. So this will be the instructions for the shoulders, building of the shoulders of the bust head sculpture template. All right then guys, speak to you all soon. Bye.